Rest is all stories. Oh, I'll bring this one business, I'll do this much, they're not interested. They need the financial. You give them 100% access to your partner or your because that will yourself, they may not see it ever, but then you yourself are very clean. You also know that somebody is already. You put your own governance on yourself as well as the finances. So there's a second. So second thing is build your team. So you should be absolutely transparent with your code. Whether it's your 2 people team, your 3 people team, whether it's the technology, CTO, CFO, HR head, your business partner, that code. There's a second component. Go on by absolute transparent relationship. Third element is the infrastructure. You must have the right to infrastructure, little office or the BlackBerry or whatever you want, whatever you need building. That is the third thing. Then the fourth thing is the finances. If you have the first thing right and the second thing right, promise you the third and fourth are like this. There are people who are ready to write checks to you. There are people who will give you the money for it. That is all about time. This whole time is all about. If you have a good business, and then we talk about it a lot. I don't know how much of it can happen in Chandigarh. I don't know. If you have a good customer-centric idea and you have a good team behind it, the money raising ability is very high. There's no issue on that. You don't need to go and mortgage your houses. You don't need to go and mortgage your own proper home. That was the old model. Customer and your team is very clearly visible to the fashion. Then of course they're automatic for your infrastructure. Yeah, X amount of space I need or X amount of infrastructure. That is only mathematics. That puts a fashion people. Then the money will follow. Money is not. The problem with the entrepreneurship many times is we are worried about the money first. And we never start. We say, oh my God, I'm doing a job, so if I don't have the money, I'll die or my house will not go. Those are the only concerns. Get rid of them. So it's about a little bit of a risk-taking passion. Go on. If you have a passion or idea, some work for that with a very clear, that particular thing be absolutely done. Risk-taking has to be everywhere. For building the team, means the team.
Different types of team, like one is proprietary, another is partner, then there is you can have proprietary
I think all of them are good. Like, I cannot say one is better than another. The only thing what I would suggest, avoid having ambiguity. Like one of the ambiguity comes in is 50-50 causes ambiguity. But your value systems do not, your ecosystem, your values do not align. It's gonna be a problem. It's a 50-50 model. So one has to take a little dominance of it. Also the other no, I can make anything of it. This is one. The other thing, your exit strategy in a team must be very clear. Day one. It's very difficult to talk. In Indian context, we're shy of talking on those things. But I think we should talk right on the day one. So what will happen if I have to exit? What will you do? Will you take on the business or I take on the business? And mature teams right now, I've seen youngsters talk very upfront now in building that relationship. So stay in an uncomfortable zone. I've seen many times the teams get built up on a comfortable zone. They start drinking on the day one, they go to a coffee shop, they're all energy and that's good. But you must bring all the uncomfortable aspects right in the day one, which is very much possible in the modern times. So much communication tools available. So you can be absolutely open in saying that this is the way I like to do. This is what my name is. Sometimes, many times we're not clear. So it's good to say that we're not clear. I cannot have an answer to that question today. Tell them, both of us are not clear. Can we leave this undecided? Let's document as undecided and review it after 3 months. But that should continue haunting you. There is something undecided. So the team, the relationship builds up there on that part. So avoid 50-50. Avoid any kind of sugar-coated relationship. Avoid, construction doesn't matter whether you do private limited or private, that doesn't matter. That absolutely doesn't matter. And then another thing you must be very clear is the key result areas.
Like funding sort of thing, like finances. Do they prefer proprietary firms or do they prefer for?
So to answer the question, actually there's no difference. Only thing why they prefer a limited company. The governance of a limited company supposedly be better because somebody else is watching, somebody you never heard. statutory audit, somebody would have audited your records, somebody would have audited your accounts, so there could be so there is perceived to be a cleaner company. It's easier. It's easier in that direction. And there are certain company laws which help the outside guy to go and do it. That's why it's always better. It doesn't cost you anything extra, a little bit of extra cost of administrative in the beginning. But I think it's worth it when you're raising money. Why not? There's a cost of funding it and there's a small bit of anything on that part. So that definitely is not an issue. So, a good question. One is an exit from the business. Correct. The stage always comes in that you must start thinking what is a good time to in cash. Because if you carry a bag too long, the business, it gets your passion starts dropping. Right? So if you're asking me personally, question, I realize that in certain aspects of my business, my passion has dropped. So I should be making exit on those businesses and build businesses out of those that money which I gain from there in the areas where I love more. Interest areas. So taking example. There are 2-3 areas I personally feel are good for me. One is I always do the collective communication or integrated communication. You heard about that, where the various devices talk to each other. I'm not talking about cloud. I'm not talking about platform-based. I'm talking about integrated communication technologies. It always something on that direction. If you notice, somebody would have asked this question: how I built my earlier company. Earlier company had a hodgepodge model. Is a reactive model, very much like HCL. HCL was education, HCL in hardware, HCL in everything what came in there, very much like HCL. But the new companies which are like to build, they should not be there, they should be more towards like, I would say a mini Facebook. We feel that those are the ones we feel more towards or drawn towards. We should build up the companies more towards that. I mean, in my own way, it's not, nothing is wrong both ways. I think I'm getting a little more in that direction on that part. Second thing which I strongly feel that if you do too many things after a period of time, your risk-taking ability because of your personal thing, you say now you say why to burn my money, it becomes limited. So the certain parts of too many things start suffering. They don't get the attention, they don't get the resources the way they should be getting, and so you suddenly realize you are treating certain components of your own business or your own passion unfairly. So it's good to make an exit from those and tell, okay, look, these are the ones I don't want to do anymore. I want to just focus on that. So to answer your question, I'll make exit of certain types of businesses and put more than money into certain focus area. And I build something which is a new kind of company.
Like, won't you track WNS and within your own business and
so can I become a 300 crore company, 300 crore company? I built it to 50, and the curve got tapered. All right. Last 3 years I've grown into that point. Last 2.5, 3 years, I've not grown beyond this number. I go to 50, 55, drop down to 40, then go to 45. So I'm in that groove, which is I always say is the end of the first S curve. We're at the end of the first S. So if your question is, I like that IDS is to go to the second S. People from IDS here, so they hear me on very often. So, the second part, the second S curve cannot be built by me. I'm the biggest enemy of the second S curve. Why? Because if I have my own habits, the way I do, the way I work, it will give me the same results again. So if it's either Iyer from the Valley, and I told the story. He said, look, if you've not been able to do it in the last 2 years, you won't be able to do it in the next 2 years because you cannot change yourself. So how do you change? How do you fundamentally bring in disruption to your thought process? By bringing a new team. So I plan to take a role of a mentor, take a role of a, say, hand-holding person and build a professional team. So a professional team should should be brought into the company, which will build the second S curve. They will have a very different view to the whole place. They may come out with an absolutely new way of marketing. They may come out with an absolutely new way of delivering. They may come out with a new way of taking risks. Are you with me? And that is the only way the second S curve can be built in the company. Of course, the challenges, if you ask, will let us. The second challenge, there will be definitely the new professional team will be much more demanding from the existing people, which may not be used to a certain demands. So there will be a kind of aberrations of that kind. So I see a lot of HR challenges in that direction. I do expect rest the business model is there. That business model will have sufficient inertia to carry on. That doesn't look like very challenging.
I am a finance company and I want to ask, apart from IT, in which sector I should invest?
But that's a very generic, very personal, as I said, very question. But right now, I can tell you a different answer to that. One thing I strongly, if you look at progressive economies like US, or even Australia, or many other economies, the larger number of successful communities live in the urban area, and lesser people live in the farmlands. In India, it's the other way. We have 70% people live in the farmlands, and 70% is a large number also. Very large number of our 1.1 billion people live in the farmlands. So there is a huge amount of migration, which I can promise